Hello, my name is Joe, and today I will be graphing quadratic functions by determining whether its graph opens up or down, finding its vertex, axis of symmetry, y-intercept, and x-intercept, if any. I will also be finding the complex zeros of this function. So we start out with this function right here, f of x equals 2x squared plus 3x plus 2. To find the zeros of this function, you will have to use the quadratic formula, which is listed right down here. So you will do, these three numbers will represent, these will represent A, B, and C. So the quadratic function states that negative B, which would be negative 3. So it would be negative 3 plus or minus 3 squared minus 4 times A and C, which we can just multiply that in our head, make it 4, over 2A, which would also be 4. We're going to go down one more, the negative 3 plus or minus 9 minus 16 over 4. That'll equal to negative 3 plus or minus negative 7 over 4. Now since we're using complex numbers, we can actually take the square root of a negative number, and the complete zeros of this function will be negative 3 plus or minus I root 7 over 4. When you have a negative square root, you will put an I on the outside of the square root and put the number inside the root. So those are your zeros. It will be 3 plus I root 7 over 4 and 3 minus I root 7 over 4. Now let's find the vertex. Vertex formula is negative B over 2A. Again, we go back to our function. B is 3, so that means negative B would be negative 3 times 2A, which would be 4. So this will be the x of our vertex. To find the y, we'll plug the x into our function. So the formula will be as such: 2 times negative 3 over 4 squared plus 3 times negative 3 over 4 plus 2. Now, in your calculator, if you do this, because it's kind of hard to do in your head, you will get 0.875 or 7 over 8, which would be the y. And that's your vertex. Now we're going to have to plot this in a graph. Make our graph real quick. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, now that we know what our vertex is, which is negative 3/4 and 7/8, our vertex will be somewhere here, in between 1 and 1. I kind of made my graph bad, so it's not that great, but yeah. And then we have our y-intercept, which is 2. 2 will be right here. So this point is 0, 2. And we obviously know what our vertex is, negative 3/4 and 7 over 8. So our axis of symmetry will go up right up here at x of -1. And so now the axis of symmetry would be the x of the vertex -3/4, which means that our next point will be at 1.5, which is about over here. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't read my graph well. I think this is the one. Oh no, this is the one. Okay, so it would be over here. You need to get a better graph. Okay. So those are our 2 points, and this one would be 1.5 or 1.5 and 2. Put that in a bad spot, but you know what I'm getting at. So here, connect the dots. And there you go. Obviously this will open up, or it will go up as our first number in the function is positive. If it was negative, it would open down. So let's write that real quick. Open up. Since A equals 2. So here we found out if the graph opens up or down, which is up, finding its vertex, which is right here, -3/4 and 7/8. Axis of symmetry, which is -3/4, listed right here. Kind of put it in the middle, but still, you know. Y-intercepts, which is 2, and x-intercepts, which there are 0, which is why it had to be an imaginary number.